The Grand Hall of the Intergalactic Council stretched like a palace of light and glass, suspended in orbit around a star that glimmered golden. Delegates from hundreds of worlds had gathered, each proud of their civilizations, each confident in their armies. Towering beings with scales, feathers, and chitin glimmered under the hall's lights, while fleets floated silently outside the massive windows. In this chamber of power, the galaxy decided its future. And today, one figure would challenge everything they believed. He entered slowly, his mechanical leg clanking softly against the polished floor. Scars and dents marred his battered armor, each mark a story of battles fought and comrades lost. His grayish skin was etched with lines and tattoos that told tales of pain, courage, and survival. His eyes, sharp and bright, scanned the room as whispers spread. This was Kylor Vash, veteran of the Andromeda conflict, a war that had devoured entire planets and left star systems in ruin. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, gripping the podium with a hand that trembled not from weakness but from the weight of memory. "Esteemed members of the Council," he said, his voice strong but heavy with emotion, "I have come with a warning about Earth and about humanity." A ripple of amusement moved through the chamber. Many laughed softly, thinking this old soldier had lost his mind. The winged diplomat with shimmering blue feathers spoke first. "You exaggerate, Kylor. Humans are young. Their weapons are crude. Their armies are nothing compared to ours." Kylor's eyes burned with intensity. "I have fought against countless species," he said, his voice rising. "I have seen armies that could crush moons, warships that could ignite stars, and warriors who could obliterate cities with a single strike. And yet, nothing I have ever faced compares to humans when they defend their home." Murmurs of doubt echoed through the council. A crystalline elder, Orith, clicked in disbelief. "You claim to have seen Earth, have you really? Or is this the rambling of a mind haunted by old wars?" Kylor's voice hardened. "I have seen them in battle. I have seen fleets 10 times their size crumble because of human strategy, ingenuity, and sheer courage. I have watched a single human outmaneuver drones designed to kill millions. They adapt faster than any species I have known. They endure what should destroy them, and they fight, not for glory, not for power, but for each other." Some delegates chuckled. Others shook their heads. "You are senile," said a young officer leaning back in his levitating chair. "No human could survive our weapons. No human could ever matter in galactic war. Your warnings are absurd." Kylor's voice thundered over their laughter. "Absurd, you misunderstand. Humans fight for something beyond tactics and technology. They fight for hope. They fight for love. They fight for survival. And in that fight they become unstoppable. If the galaxy underestimates them, it will be a mistake none of us can survive." The hall fell silent, a tension filling the air that no one could name. Some delegates frowned, uneasy. Some still laughed, but even their smiles were nervous. Kylor knew they did not yet believe him. They never did, but he had to speak. He had to warn them, even if they called him insane. He turned, his armor scraping against the polished floor, and left the council hall. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, brilliant and cold. Somewhere far away, humanity's blue planet spun silently, small and unremarkable among the millions of worlds. And yet Kylor had seen their fire. He had seen the humans rise against impossible odds, fight when all hope seemed lost, and endure when others would have crumbled. A quiet thought settled in his mind, heavy but certain. Fire once ignited cannot be contained. And one day the galaxy would face the human spirit, and it would burn brighter than any star. After Kylor left the council hall, whispers followed him like shadows. Delegates debated his words, their voices rising and falling like waves. Some found his warning absurd, others feared it, though none admitted it. The galaxy had faced countless threats, armies that crushed planets, civilizations that burned suns, but never anything like the humans of Earth. At least, they thought so. Back in his quarters, Kylor stared at a small, cracked hollow image of Earth. Its blue oceans and green lands seemed fragile, almost laughable to anyone who had seen supernovas detonate at close range. But he knew the truth. He had seen humans fight when everything seemed lost. He had seen courage that defied logic, endurance that shattered all calculations, and strategy so unorthodox it could make an entire fleet fall apart. A knock at his door startled him. It was Leah, a young officer he had trained in the Andromeda conflict. Her eyes were wide, filled with worry. "Kylor, they called you insane," she said softly. Some of the council laughed. Others, they're angry. They think you're trying to frighten them. Kylor shook his head. I am not frightening them. I am warning them. They do not understand. Humans are different. They do not fight for glory or conquest or greed. They fight for something deeper. Something that cannot be measured in fleets or weapons. If we do not prepare for them, the galaxy will pay the price. Leah frowned. But what can we do? They are so small. Their fleets are tiny compared to ours. Their technology, primitive. He smiled faintly, a grim, tired smile. That is exactly why they are dangerous. They use what they have with precision, creativity, and courage. They turn weaknesses into strength. The galaxy's greatest powers underestimate them because they are human. That underestimation will be our undoing. Meanwhile, in the council chambers, debates raged on. Delegates argued over supplies, fleets, alliances. But Kylor's warning lingered like a shadow over the room. A few cautious voices spoke quietly. What if he is right, said one. What if humans are stronger than we think? But most laughed at the suggestion, shaking their heads. Kylor knew that laughter was not disbelief. It was comfort. The galaxy wanted to believe it was safe. They wanted their fleets, their weapons, and their history to feel enough. But humans were a different story. He had witnessed them fight against impossible odds. He remembered the battle near Europa's orbit, where humans repelled a pirate armada 3 times their size. One human ship, guided by instinct and courage, had destroyed 50 enemy drones. No alien tactics could predict it. No calculation could contain it. Night fell on Kylor's quarters, the stars outside glowing faintly through the observation window. He felt the weight of the galaxy's ignorance pressing on him. He had fought wars, seen worlds burn, and lost friends whose faces he would never forget. And yet, he feared the humans more than any enemy he had ever faced. They were small, but their spirit, it was unbreakable. Leah placed a hand on his shoulder. Do you really think the council will listen? He turned to her, eyes fierce. They will listen. Eventually, or they will regret not listening. Humans do not ask for mercy. They do not yield. And one day they will prove it. The galaxy may laugh now, but when humans rise, no power can stop them. Remember that, Leah. Remember it well. As the council continued its debates, Kylor's warning spread quietly like sparks before a wildfire. Few took it seriously, but some listened carefully. And somewhere across the stars, Earth's blue light continued to shine, quiet and unassuming, holding within it a force the galaxy could not yet imagine. Kylor sat back, closing his eyes. The memory of human courage warmed him like fire. He could hear their shouts, feel their fear and determination, smell the smoke of their battles. And he knew the truth. One day the galaxy would see what he had seen, and the humans of Earth would no longer be underestimated. Months passed since Kylor's warning. The council continued its debates, building fleets and fortifying borders, yet their laughter at the idea of humans being a threat lingered in the air. Kylor, however, never stopped watching, never stopped thinking. He knew the humans were growing stronger, preparing quietly while the galaxy ignored them. It began with small incidents, messages of human ships surviving attacks that should have obliterated them. Intelligence reports reached the council. Cargo vessels outmaneuvering pirate fleets, small frigates escaping ambushes, and occasional daring raids against outposts. Each time the council dismissed these reports. Lucky accidents, they said. Primitive ships using primitive tricks. But Kylor knew better. Luck could not explain determination, courage, or instinct honed through endless hardship. One night, Kylor stood on a cliff above the ruined city of his homeworld, looking at the stars. Leah joined him, quiet for once. They keep surviving, she said softly. You were right. Something about them. It isn't luck. They fight differently. They think differently. Kylor nodded. Humans are unpredictable. Their strength is in their hearts, not their technology. They fight for each other, and that is what makes them unstoppable. The first real test came soon after. A small human exploration fleet wandered into the outer rim, far from their home system. They were intercepted by a marauder armada, ships 3 times their size, bristling with weapons designed to crush planets. The council expected reports of destruction, but none came. Instead, the humans fought back, their movements strange yet precise. They dodged, countered, and outmaneuvered the enemy, using every weak point in the marauders' formation. Kylor watched the data streams, his eyes widening. He had trained countless soldiers, but he had never seen such instinctive coordination. One human frigate rammed a marauder carrier, disabling it, while theirs flanked and destroyed the support ships. The battle lasted hours, but by the end, the humans emerged victorious. Not a single ship of theirs had been lost. The Council's reaction was slow. Coincidence, one delegate muttered. The marauders were incompetent. Another argued, we need more data. This is only one fleet, but Kyler clenched his fists. One fleet is enough. One fleet shows the truth. Humans are not small, not weak, and not primitive. They adapt, they endure, they fight with a will no calculation can predict. If the Council does not pay attention now, the galaxy will regret it. News of the battle spread quietly. Some diplomats who had laughed before now glanced nervously at each other. A few began to whisper in private corridors. Kylor's warning was no longer a story. It was reality. Back on Earth, the humans celebrated quietly. They did not boast, did not declare victory to the stars. They repaired their ships, trained their crews, and prepared for the future. Kylor watched in awe. Every move they made proved his faith in them correct. Every decision, every sacrifice, every act of courage reinforced what he had been trying to tell the Council for months. Night fell again on Kylor's quarters, and he stood by the window, gazing at the stars. Somewhere out there, humans trained, fought, and endured. Somewhere out there, the galaxy's misunderstanding of them was growing. Kylor felt a surge of hope, but also a bitter edge of frustration. The galaxy was blind, and humanity's power remained underestimated. He turned to Leah, eyes burning. They will not stop, Leah. They will rise, and the galaxy will have to face them. When that day comes, nothing will be the same. Not fleets, not weapons, not councils. Humans will change everything, and I will be there to see it. She nodded, understanding. And when the Council finally believes you, it will be too late to contain them. Kyler smiled faintly. Exactly. That is why we watch. That is why we wait. Humans are small, but they carry a fire the galaxy cannot extinguish, and one day that fire will burn brighter than any star. The galaxy had dismissed Kyler's warnings for too long, but the humans of Earth were patient, quiet, and relentless. While the Council debated fleets and alliances, humans trained in silence, building strategies that no alien mind could anticipate. Kyler watched every report, every intercepted communication, his heart pounding with anticipation and pride. Then came the first true test. A merciless warlord from the Zarnak cluster, believing humans to be weak, sent a fleet to attack Earth directly. Their ships were enormous, bristling with weapons designed to annihilate whole cities from orbit. The Council expected Earth to crumble, just as they had expected all small worlds to do. But Kylor knew better. On Earth's orbital defense station, human commanders calmly studied the incoming fleet. Civilian ships were evacuated, shields were raised, and fighters were launched with precision. Every movement seemed simple, but every maneuver was calculated to exploit weaknesses in the enemy formation. Kylor observed in awe as humans coordinated without the aid of galactic-level technology, relying instead on instinct, adaptability, and courage that no alien algorithm could predict. The first wave of attacks hit, and Earth's forces responded with astonishing efficiency. Human frigates swerved through streams of laser fire, launching counterattacks that destroyed enemy vessels faster than anyone thought possible. One human captain, barely out of training, sacrificed his ship to block a massive missile salvo, saving countless others. His crew survived, continuing the fight as if nothing had happened. Kyler's eyes burned with emotion. They are unstoppable, he whispered. They do not fight like any species I have known. They endure, they sacrifice, and they adapt. And they never, ever give up. The battle raged for hours. The Zarnak fleet, confident in their overwhelming numbers and power, began to falter. Each human ship, no matter how small, found a way to exploit a weakness. Enemy cruisers collided with each other, destroyed by human strategy. Missile barrages were intercepted and turned against the attackers. Even the smallest human vessels seemed to move with purpose, guided by a courage that could not be calculated. In the Council chambers, news of the battle reached delegates as data streams from Earth's orbit flickered across the screens. Gasps echoed through the hall. The laughter and scoffs that had followed Kyler's warnings vanished, replaced by shock, fear, and disbelief. One diplomat whispered, almost trembling, This is impossible. They should have been destroyed. Kyler stood tall, a grim smile crossing his scarred face. Impossible? No, humans do not know that word. They fight for each other, for their home, for hope. And that is why they are dangerous. Not because they have the biggest ships, not because they have the most weapons, but because they will not fail. Because they cannot be broken. The battle ended with the Zarnak fleet in shambles. Many ships were destroyed and the remaining forces retreated, humiliated and terrified. Human casualties were remarkably low, considering the scale of the assault. Yet Earth's people did not celebrate loudly. They quietly repaired their ships, helped the wounded, and prepared for the next threat. Every action, no matter how small, displayed a resilience that left Kylor in awe. He turned to Leah, who had been watching the same reports. The Council cannot ignore this now. They will try, but they will fail. Humans are rising, and when the galaxy finally sees them fully, no power will stand in their way. Outside, the stars shone silently over Earth, a pale blue gem that seemed small and fragile against the vastness of space. But Kylor knew its secret. Within its oceans, its cities, its forests, and its people, burned a fire the galaxy had never seen before. And that fire, once fully unleashed, would change everything. Kylor clenched his fists, his heart swelling with both pride and urgency. They are more than warriors, he whispered to himself. They are the hope of the galaxy, and I will do everything I can to make sure the Council finally understands, before it is too late. The aftermath of the Zarnak battle rippled through the galaxy like a shockwave. Delegates hurried to gather reports, screens flickering with footage of human ingenuity and courage. For the first time, the Council could not dismiss Kylor's warnings as exaggeration, yet pride, fear, and disbelief clashed in the hearts of the galaxy's leaders. Kylor walked into the Council chamber again, his armor scarred, his mechanical leg clanking softly against the floor. This time, the whispers that greeted him were different, uncertain, wary, respectful. He felt the shift in the air but remained calm. Years of war had taught him patience. Now the galaxy had begun to notice, even if slowly. Members of the Council, he began, his voice steady and firm. You have seen the reports. The humans of Earth do not fight like any species we have known. They are fast, clever, and fearless. They are small, yes, but within them burns a fire no weapon, no fleet, no strategy can extinguish. Some delegates tried to speak, their voices shaky. It was one battle, a crystalline elder murmured. Perhaps luck or favorable circumstances. It cannot represent all of humanity. Kylor shook his head, frustration rising but controlled. Luck does not explain their endurance. It does not explain their ability to adapt under fire. It does not explain how a fleet 3 times their size can be routed by humans who seem ordinary yet extraordinary in every way. I have fought countless wars, and I have never seen anything like them. The Council fell silent. Holograms of the Zarnak fleet's defeat rotated slowly above the chamber. Delegates could see ships disabled in ways no conventional tactics would predict. They could see humans making sacrifices, taking risks, and prevailing against impossible odds. A young diplomat spoke, trembling. If what you say is true, if humans truly possess this strength, what does it mean for us? For the galaxy? Kylor's eyes burned with urgency. It means you must take them seriously. It means every fleet, every world, every leader must recognize that Earth is not a threat to itself alone. They are a force unlike any other. Underestimating them would be catastrophic. They are not just warriors. They are a new standard, a spark that will change everything. Some of the older Council members were silent, staring at the images. Pride and prejudice battled with the undeniable truth. They had fought wars, built empires, and conquered worlds. Yet here was a species smaller than most, weaker in technology, but stronger in spirit. Kylor saw the fear in their eyes, the same fear he had felt when first observing humans in battle. Are we to ally with them? Asked a feathered delegate nervously, or prepare to face them as enemies. Kylor smiled faintly, a mixture of relief and pain. You will not face them as enemies if you are wise. Humans fight for survival, for each other, for hope. If you respect them, if you learn from them, they will become your greatest ally. But if you doubt them, if you try to control them, you will fail. They cannot be broken, and they will not forgive weakness. Outside the Council chambers, Kylor looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, human fleets repaired, trained, and endured. He felt pride in their quiet, steadfast courage. They did not seek recognition, yet the galaxy would soon know their power. Leah placed a hand on his arm. The council is beginning to understand, she said softly. Finally, Kyler nodded, eyes filled with emotion. It is not enough for them to understand. They must respect humans. They must prepare. Because one day, the galaxy will witness the full strength of Earth's warriors. And when that day comes, no force will stand against them. And as he looked toward the distant blue dot spinning silently in the void, Kyler knew that humans had already begun reshaping the galaxy, not through fear, not through domination, but through courage, ingenuity, and an unbreakable will. The spark had been lit, and it would grow into a fire no one could ignore. The galaxy had begun to take notice, but few truly understood the humans of Earth. Reports continued to flood in. Fleets thought invincible were crippled. Weapons that could destroy planets were outmaneuvered, and every encounter left aliens stunned and confused. Kyler watched each report with a mix of pride and urgency. Humanity was not merely surviving. It was reshaping the rules of war itself. On the outskirts of a contested star system, a massive alien fleet approached Earth's territory. Ships bristling with advanced weapons closed in, confident in their superior numbers and firepower. They believed humans would either surrender or be annihilated. They were wrong. Earth's command center buzzed with activity. Young officers, hardened pilots, and veteran strategists worked together seamlessly. Every vessel, from massive carriers to tiny interceptors, moved with precision, but their tactics were unpredictable. They did not follow conventional strategies. They adapted in real time, exploiting weaknesses in ways no alien commander could foresee. Kyler observed from a council monitoring station, his heart pounding. "This is it," he muttered. "This is what the galaxy will see. This is what they cannot imagine." The first wave of alien attacks struck. Missiles tore through space. Lasers cut across the void and explosions illuminated the darkness. Yet the human fleet moved like a living organism, dodging, countering, and striking in perfect harmony. One small frigate darted between massive cruisers, disabling key weapon systems before retreating without a scratch. Another launched decoy drones that lured entire squadrons into traps. Every move was daring, creative, and terrifyingly effective. In the council chambers, delegates could not believe their eyes. Holographic projections displayed the unfolding battle in real time. Gasps echoed as massive alien vessels were destroyed by ships half their size. Calculations that should have ensured victory failed again and again. Whispers of impossible and miracles spread like wildfire. Kyler's warning no longer sounded like prophecy. It was reality. Leah, standing beside him, whispered, "They fight like no one else." "It's inspiring." Kyler nodded, a proud, grim smile on his scarred face. "Inspiring, yes. And dangerous. The galaxy will never be the same. Not because of technology, not because of numbers, but because humans have something no one can copy. The will to endure and win, no matter the cost." Hours passed, but Earth's fleet held strong. The alien forces, once arrogant and confident, began to falter. Ships collided, formations broke apart, and chaos replaced discipline. Human ingenuity turned what should have been destruction into victory after victory. Finally, the alien admiral ordered a retreat. His ships limped away, battered and humiliated. Earth's casualties were minimal, a testament to their strategy and courage. Kyler felt a swell of pride and relief. Humans had faced the galaxy's greatest weapons and emerged unbroken, triumphant not through brute force, but through determination, intelligence, and unity. As the fleet regrouped, Kyler turned to Leah. "Do you see it? The galaxy finally glimpses what I have been saying all along. Humans are small, but they carry the fire of entire worlds. They fight not for conquest, not for glory, but for survival, for hope for each other, and that makes them unstoppable." She nodded, her eyes wide. "They are beyond what we imagined. The galaxy underestimated them, and now we all know." Kyler gazed out at the stars, toward Earth's pale blue dot spinning silently in the void. The humans had shown their true strength, and the galaxy had seen a glimpse of it. But this was only the beginning. Their ingenuity, courage, and unbreakable will would continue to reshape the cosmos. He clenched his fists, feeling both pride and urgency. The galaxy will respect them, or it will fall before them. And when humans rise fully, nothing, no force, no empire, no weapon, will be able to stop them. Somewhere, far away, humans trained, repaired, and prepared for the next challenge. They did not boast. They did not seek recognition. They simply endured, and in that endurance they carried the future of the galaxy. And Kyler, the old war veteran who had warned everyone, finally felt a quiet joy. His people, small and underestimated, were becoming legends. The galaxy would never be the same. Stories of humans' courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable spirit spread through every system like wildfire. The old laughter and disbelief that had greeted Kyler's warnings were gone, replaced by awe, fear, and a grudging respect. Humanity had arrived not with threats, not with conquest, but with a force far greater, the indomitable human will. Kyler stood on the observation deck of a neutral station near the Orion frontier, gazing at the blue planet spinning silently in the void. He remembered the first time he had warned the Council, the ridicule and doubt that had greeted him. Every scoff, every mocking whisper, every dismissal had been worth it. He had seen the fire of Earth's warriors, and now the galaxy had seen it too. A fleet of human ships moved with precise coordination across the star systems. Each mission, each maneuver, displayed a discipline and creativity that left alien commanders stunned. Kyler watched a small human frigate outsmart an enormous enemy dreadnought, disabling its weapons without losing a single crew member. He could see the humanity in every action: bravery, sacrifice, ingenuity, and above all, teamwork. Leah joined him, her eyes wide with emotion. "They've done it," she whispered. "The galaxy finally knows?" Kyler nodded. "Not just knows. They understand. Humans are not just warriors. They are a force that will define the future. Look at them, Leah. Small in number, yes, but mighty in spirit. They fight with something the galaxy has never seen: heart, hope, and unity." Across the council chambers, delegates watched footage of human fleets defending distant colonies, rescuing civilians under fire, and turning hopeless situations into victories. Some fell to their knees in disbelief. Others clenched their fists, humbled by the realization that no amount of technology, no matter how advanced, could match the humans' determination. The galaxy had underestimated Earth, and it had learned a hard lesson. Kyler remembered the young human captain who had sacrificed his ship to save others. He remembered entire fleets turning the tide of war through ingenuity alone. He felt pride swelling in his chest, a deep emotional pride that only someone who had truly understood the humans could feel. These were not just soldiers, they were legends, and the galaxy was beginning to understand that. He turned to Leah, voice trembling slightly. "I warned them. I shouted, I begged them to see it. And now they see. The humans are no longer underestimated. They will shape the destiny of the galaxy, not through fear, but through courage, wisdom, and an unbreakable spirit." Leah smiled. "You were right, Kyler, and the galaxy. It will never forget them." Kyler clenched his fists and looked again at Earth. The planet seemed small, fragile, yet within it lived something stronger than entire fleets, more enduring than the most advanced weapons, and more inspiring than any empire the galaxy had known. Humans had proven what Kyler had always believed, that spirit and willpower could overcome any obstacle, and that courage could ignite a fire that no force could extinguish. A quiet thought settled in his mind, filled with both satisfaction and awe. He had lived to see it, the moment when humans stepped into their rightful place in the galaxy. He had warned, he had fought, he had endured, and now he could witness humanity rising as a force that would inspire and protect countless worlds. The stars stretched endlessly around him, vast and silent, yet full of possibility. And in the middle of that vastness, a small blue planet burned quietly, carrying within it a light that no darkness could overcome. Kyler felt a tear slip down his cheek, not of sorrow, but of pride and hope. Humanity had become what he had always known they could be: unstoppable, unforgettable, and legendary. He whispered to himself, almost as a vow, "The galaxy will remember Earth, and the humans who refused to be broken." And somewhere across the stars, human fleets continued to move forward, quiet, fearless, and brilliant. The fire had been lit, the galaxy had witnessed it, and the legacy of humanity had begun.